Welcome, everyone, to this 2024 referendum information session here on Zoom. I'm Dr. Susan Coleman, your superintendent, and we'll be starting here in just a minute. Okay, seeing as how it's 7:31, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for joining me here this evening as we present to you some information about the upcoming referendum. Please know that the Q&A section option is open. So throughout, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to jot those questions in there, and I will be answering them at the end of the presentation. So we're going to start with this synopsis video. So here we go.
When you walk into Gulf District 67 schools, you feel the school spirit and pride. Every day throughout Hines Elementary School and Gulf Middle School, you see the joy of teaching and learning, discovery and connection. Those moments, all of them, reflect the heart of the district. But if you look past those moments, you will notice Gulf 67 faces facility challenges that impact the educational experience. That is why the district is asking voters to consider a referendum to address critical facility needs. Those needs include aging roofs and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC, life safety requirements, fire suppression system, enhanced security, unsafe traffic flow, asbestos abatement, replacing mobile classrooms, and compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
We have so much to be proud of here in Gulf District 67. We have amazing teachers who truly care about their students. We have amazing kids, and we have an extraordinary community that helps support us in every step of the way. However, our facilities don't match the great experiences that are happening every day in our schools, and they become distracting to the learning environment. Having to move classes because it's too hot or it's too cold or because your classroom is leaking disrupts the great work that happens here every day.
Having to move a classroom or having to really have students that are just being affected by the enormous temperature changes, it's difficult for students to focus and to learn. We do the best that we can putting it together.
It's very difficult to do one-on-one teaching because there's no space. And so oftentimes it's done in the hallways or in areas that are not really equipped or designed for teaching or conducive for teaching and learning.
The plan for the $26.3 million referendum, with additional funding from non-referendum bonds, fund balance, and grants, was built with community feedback after voters did not approve a 2022 referendum. The district listened to our constituents. This proposal is less than half the amount of the previous referendum.
We are known to be a fiscally responsible district, and we are proud of the decisions that we make with our taxpayer dollars. However, because of our low tax rate and our smaller budget, we will be unable to address all these facility needs without taxpayer support.
The plan maintains both school buildings and would provide funding to install security and fire suppression systems, replace aging, leaking roofs, abate asbestos, bring buildings into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, replace mobile classrooms, and improve traffic flow and traffic safety, and address other infrastructure needs.
Addressing critical facility needs now will help create a foundation for the future for generations to come.
Learn more about the proposal, its tax impact, and find voting information at gulf67.net/foundation for future.
Oops. Sorry about that. A little glitch happy there. I wanted to start out by just reminding everyone of our strategic plan and our mission statement. We embrace being a diverse community of learners who are dedicated to building an inclusive environment focused on growth, equity, and success to inspire global citizenship. Our goal areas are growth, global citizenship, unity, and stewardship. And the referendum ask fits into all of these categories as we move forward to help support our students. So the initial challenges we are facing are roof leaks. Both schools experienced roof deterioration, with some areas requiring attention to prevent further issues. There are some parts of our roofs that are at 100% saturation part with the roof underlay that needs to be replaced so that we can avoid further mold issues. Our HVAC systems, since our failed referendum, the district has spent more than $280,000 on malfunctions and repairs to the current system. It's important to note that the money we are spending does not elongate the use of these systems, nor does it improve any efficiency. It's simply a Band-Aid solution until these units can be replaced. We also have asbestos present in many of our areas, and all the areas where asbestos occurs require abatement if any structural changes are made. This is especially true in areas like our libraries where there's carpet over asbestos tile, and that carpet needs to be replaced because it's coming up in certain areas. However, we can't simply replace carpet. We won't be able to do that until we abate the asbestos, because we can't change the carpeting without disrupting the asbestos tile that lays underneath. Currently, we have mobile classrooms at Hines Elementary School, and we're using other interim measures that have been used to manage space needs. And we have safety concerns. We need updates to our security systems and improvements to the Americans with Disability compliance that are identified as priorities to help ensure a safe and accessible environment for all of our students and staff. So how did we get here? The path to our 2024 referendum came from input from a community task force. After the failed referendum of 2022, we met with our constituents to discover what could we do with our aging infrastructure, because although that referendum didn't pass, the problems we have with infrastructure still remain. They are now just older. So we had a community-driven task force that was established to reassess and prioritize district needs, leading to a revised plan that balances necessary improvements with community concerns. One of the biggest concerns we heard from our constituents is they wanted to keep 2 neighborhood schools. There was not an interest in building one brand new school. So we listened to that, and this plan was then created to focus on these areas. Safety enhancements, which could include upgrading our fire suppression systems, enhancing entry point security, along with ensuring ADA compliance. Infrastructure improvements, replacing aging roofs and HVAC systems, and ensuring ADA compliance and asbestos abatement. And educational space expansion, creating new classrooms, a music room, and also a classroom for NTDSE, which is the Niles Township District for Special Education. Currently, our partners with NTDSE support all of the township students in classes in all of the township districts. However, in District 67, we're not meeting our obligation because we do not have a classroom that is appropriate for NTDSE students, both from the township and our own students at Hines Elementary. So what that means is that we have a blended preschool program. So we have students who are at risk or students with disabilities. They come to Hines in our preschool program. If they require more support than we can offer, we then have to send them across the township into another district so they can get those services met. And then they come back to us at the middle school because we are able to house an NTDSE classroom at the middle school. And we truly believe that our students, as well as the township students, should be able to maintain in the same district throughout their high school career and diminish any unnecessary transitions. In addition, we will improve our media centers and create more student support spaces for both small group instruction and also student assessment. The proposal looks like this. So at Hines Elementary School, our operation and maintenance request is about $10.5 million. Life safety is $638,000. And capital improvements are $714,000, bringing that total to $11.7 million. The remodel, which includes replacing the mobile classrooms, creating a safe and secure entrance at Hines Elementary, and also creating a new traffic pattern adds another $8.6 million to that. At Gulf Elementary School, our operations and maintenance cost $8.5 million, our life safety is $1.2, and capital improvements $2.5 million, totaling $12.27 million. The grand total of this project is $32.7 million. Our funding proposal recognizes that in order to partner with our community, we also have to partner financially. So we are asking the voters for $26.3 million in referendum bonds. We're going to use $3.4 million for non-referendum bonds, use $3 million from our fund balance, and $300,000 that was secured with state grants from our local legislators that address security concerns specifically. The financial impact to the community can be found on a tax calculator that is on our website. This $26.3 million bond referendum will be repaid over 20 years. The bond increase to that is 0.356. So if you look below, and if your home is valued at $400,000, this referendum will cost $390 a year, or roughly $33 a month. The financial impact to you is critical. So the district has put together an online tax calculator. It looks like this, the page you're seeing. There's also a QR code for you to download later, or you can go to our website, and that tells you exactly how much your household will be paying for the referendum. I think it's important to distinguish operating versus capital referendum and bond timelines. There are two different kinds of referendums that school districts can go out for. One is called a capital referendum or a building bond, and the other is an operating referendum. A capital referendum funds large-scale and long-term investments like building renovations, facility upgrades, and construction projects. It raises funds for one-time capital improvement through bonds, which are paid back over time. In this case, the bonds will be paid off over a 20-year period, keeping the tax impact spread out over that time. An operating referendum, on the other hand, funds day-to-day expenses such as teacher salaries, classroom supplies, utilities, and programs. Operating referendums typically result in ongoing yearly taxes that help maintain the district's operational budget and increase the overall tax rate of a community. The proposed capital referendum will allow us to complete much-needed school facility improvements with bonds structured to be paid off over the next 20 years. When looking at a capital referendum, it's also important to note that we cannot use the funds for anything other than what's on the referendum question and the items that we're sharing here with you today. We cannot use capital funds for operating. We cannot commingle those funds. These funds will not be used for teachers' salaries or classroom supplies or programming. It is specifically used to address the infrastructure needs that we have. So how does this impact our students? We'll start with Hines Elementary School. By replacing the two mobile classrooms we have, we will need to make space for 3 new classrooms. The current library will be divided into 3 individual classrooms and spaces, creating space for a proper music room, which is currently held in the trailer, where we can have soundproofing so that our students can truly experience a proper music program without any limitations on space or sound. Our technology department, who requires space to fix the over 900 devices that go to students and faculty. And also, as we mentioned earlier, a classroom for our NTDSE partners across the township. And there's a little graph or a picture up here so you can get a little kind of taste of what that might look like. The existing Library Media Center at Hines will be moved to a newly constructed media center in the school's existing courtyard. We will be closing off the courtyard so that our new media center will include 21st century learning spaces to accommodate STEAM instruction and flexible learning spaces for students, not only for small group projects and small group instruction, but also for individual testing, which our teachers assess reading and math skills on the regular basis, and also need quiet, dignified places in which to assess your children on their reading levels. Currently, our kids are meeting in the halls and in vestibules where there's disruption and distraction. And we'd like to be able to provide our students with a quiet space to show us what they know. This is a media center rendering from a different district, but this is just an example of what newly imagined library media center could look like at Hines Elementary School. These are sort of fun examples of what is currently the standard in other districts. Here's other renderings of Hines Elementary School. Again, these are from other districts with the same architect, so you can get an idea of what it looks like in other places. By constructing a new media center and renovating the existing student support classroom into an administrative and student support suite, 3 individual student support offices will be created in place of the existing main/health office and the principal's office. Currently, our health office at Hines Elementary School is too small for an actual office, and our nurse sits outside in the reception area, making it very difficult to have private phone conversations with families about the health needs of their child. It is also not handicap accessible and holds only 1 cot. We would like to be able to reimagine this space to better meet the needs of our students and their conditions. Also at Hines Elementary School will be a new administrative and student support suite. All building support offices will move to a newly created administrative and student support area suite, and that includes our support services such as social work, psychology, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, as well as reading and math specialists. We will also get an additional conference room, which will help with our meetings and also professional development and with our testing. Currently, we only have 1 conference room that is often used to do a variety of state testing, which makes it difficult to have parent meetings, and also bring, more confidentiality into the spaces that we have. We will also be expanding our storage areas and again, have an ADA compliant entrance and health office. A new secured entrance and main office could look something like this. Our goal in this project is to create a sustaining, safe, and secure entranceway, where similar to Gulf Middle School, there will be a vestibule where an individual cannot get through into the school, that they are sort of stuck in that area until someone allows them to come in. Currently at Hines Elementary School, we have a vestibule. It is not attached to an office, giving people who come in sort of free roam of the school, and requiring our secretary to come out and grab the licenses and identification of each visitor to go back to the office to run through our Raptor security system, which we are required to do. And that causes inefficiency, time loss, and it's also not very safe. Many of the complaints we've heard over the years from our constituents and our neighbors who live in the Hines Elementary area, especially on Belfort and Marion, is that our buses and our drop-off pickup lines flow the same way on the same streets, making it very difficult for our neighbors to get in and out of their house for an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. That also impacts our bus ability to drop off our kids on time and then pick up our kids on time from both elementary school and the middle school. So the main entrance of the school will be moved adjacent to the new administrative suite and student support suite. This will allow for a new parent drop-off area and 13 new parking stalls and an addition of 3 new ADA parking stalls. A proposed main entrance could look like this, where you see that newer whitish area. That will be the main entrance where the doors are, which is on the opposite side of the Judy B. Gym. If you look at where that Judy B. Gym is, and just around that corner is where our current entrances to the elementary school. And what we are proposing is this new safe and secure entrance, as we mentioned, which also includes improved traffic flow for better safety when students are entering and leaving our schools. At Gulf Middle School, as well as Hines Elementary, we need asbestos abatement. Asbestos tiles will be abated from Gulf Middle School, including the library, classrooms, and washrooms, allowing the opportunity for the spaces to be remodeled and upgraded, which, as I mentioned earlier, currently we cannot do unless we abate the asbestos at both buildings. By removing the asbestos in the library and being able to pull up the carpet and the tiles and all of the stationary furniture, we will be able to reimagine this space so that it is more suited towards middle school students and their classmates as they use this media center every day with both their classes and on their own individually. It will have student breakout rooms, both for projects and again for small group instruction. And again, this is a rendering of what it could look like. Without funding, we would still need to address these very serious issues. As I mentioned before, during the 2022-23 school year and up until last year, we've spent well over $250,000 repairing old broken systems. And this is to maintain both buildings just on HVAC alone. This does not include roof improvements. By digging into our fund balance to continue to repair broken systems, we are reducing our district's reserves, but we also have to keep the district's minimum fund balance policy of 50% of annual expenditures, which is a policy voted on by our school board and also advised by the Illinois State Board of Education. Without funding, we will continually diminish the reserves that we have. And it's the reason why it's important we have these reserves is for unexpected projects or problems that arise. For example, in the beginning of last year, we had a sewer buildup because we have clay pipes and they disintegrated. That led to a sewer backup in our 5th and 6th grade hallways at Gulf Middle School. In doing that, we had to rip up the entire floor, dig 6 feet down to replace those pipes. Had we not had that fund balance available to us to use in that emergency situation, we would have had to go to some other options that could have included short-term borrowing with a very high interest rate. On the ballot that you will see, this question will be presented to you. I know as a former English teacher that this is a very, very long question. And certainly not one that we would suggest our students write if they were turning in a paper. However, the Cook County Board of Elections has very specific rules on how and what we can put in a referendum question. So that is why it looks as it does. Shall the Board of Education of Gulf School District number 67, Cook County, Illinois, alter, repair, and equip the Hines Elementary School and Gulf Middle School buildings and improve the sites thereof, including but not limited to improving safety and security, replacing roofs and HVAC systems, removing asbestos, improving accessibility under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and eliminating mobile classrooms at Hines Elementary School, and issue bonds of said school district to the amount of $26.3 million for the purposes of paying the costs thereof. So it's a little awkward of a sentence, but the question is basically asking the community if they would support the $26.3 million referendum for 20 years to address the issues that we have discussed here tonight. Now you can see the voting information, which we are in the middle of that, getting towards the end here. So the last day to register by mail was yesterday. And today is the first day of regular early voting. November 4th is the last day of regular early voting. And then of course, November 5th is election day, and Gulf Middle School still remains a polling site. If you have any other questions about voting, please refer to the Cook County Clerk il.gov/elections for more information.